You can see these shoes. They've actually been in our set before. They were back behind Maria not too long ago, actually. They're pretty big. These are big cleats from former Tulsa student athlete in Chris Paul, who now plays, of course, for the Washington Commanders. This was a part of the My Cause, My Cleats that the NFL puts on, and he still has Powerful Minds as a huge part of that. Mental health matters. These are a little banged up because I think he played a football game in them. Even got the dirt still on the back of the shoes. But this is a really cool thing, Maria. You got a chance to catch up with Chris as well.
Yeah, Chris was absolutely fantastic, and we actually asked him why he chose Powerful Minds to put on his cleats. Let's check it out. We can't talk about Powerful Minds without mentioning former Tulsa student athlete and current member of the Washington Commanders, Chris Paul, and he joins us now in studio. Chris, you were so involved with this initiative while you were a student athlete. Why?
It's such a big deal, especially in our space. I'm an athlete, a football student athlete. I'm now a football professional athlete, and the topic of mental health is something that's just not really welcome in our space. And so, as a student athlete and now a professional athlete, I've just learned that being able to use your platform, especially from someone in my position in that male sport, in that sport that's dominated by toxic masculinity, it's really important to kind of like send that message like it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to be vulnerable, and everyone's going to need help, whatever that looks like for you. And so that's why it's so important to me and near and dear to my heart.
Why do you think, especially going back some years, maybe when you first started as a college athlete, it wasn't as much talked about? That stigma behind mental health and talking about different things involving that was something that people just stayed away from?
I think it's just like you mentioned, Maria. It's been stigmatized for a very long time, and that just comes from several factors, whether it be knowledge about the subject or the concept of the subject, or just old school thinking, whatever it may be. But it's definitely had a huge stigma surrounding the subject, and so just even being willing to have these conversations and break down those barriers is definitely just the first step to advancing in that area.
How do you think some of those stigmas have started to change, especially with initiatives like this, or as you said, using your platform to spread awareness?
I think it's because we're starting to have those important conversations. And even here in the NFL, every team has a team clinician that is on staff and available to players. And so just because we're getting that message out there and having these conversations, that's why it's starting to trend in the right direction. And one thing I've learned just in my experience as a student athlete and now a professional athlete is that you never really know who your messages will reach. You never really know how much of a difference you can make in someone's life because you were the one that spoke up about something.
I absolutely love that. I think just even the smallest gestures can make a big impact on people. And so, what are some ways that you've used your platform, first as a student athlete and now as a professional athlete, to help others?
Absolutely. I can think of many examples dating back to being a student athlete. And I took it upon myself just because it's who I am at my core to be just really holistic, balanced. So I was super involved in college. I served as the American Athletic Conference's representative to the NCAA Division I Student Athlete Advisory Committee. I was on numerous NCAA committees throughout my time in college, and I still get the opportunity to be on those now as a professional athlete. And so throughout my time, throughout my time, I've just learned that me speaking up about any type of subject has just had extremely positive effects on people that I did not know it could affect in that way. I've seen it here in in my professional career at this time where certain people, teammates I'm talking, will just reach out to me because they know I've spoken about mental health before, and they might want to know where they can find a therapist, who they can talk to, if they have any concerns that their conversations will be kept confidential or not. And they just ask me those questions open and candidly. And that's how I know that is just a small way that I know using my platform has had a positive effect.
That is absolutely incredible. And, you speak about those small ways that your platform is having an effect, but you did something in a little bit bigger way as well with the My Cause, My Cleats. So, can you tell everyone what you selected to put on your cleats? And they're behind me. I have to see which way I'm pointing. They're behind me in the studio right now.
Absolutely. For the 2023 season, in the My Cause, My Cleats campaign, I chose to represent Powerful Minds. Absolute no-brainer. This has been an initiative that I've been so heavily involved with, changed my life in college, and I had no other choice and would absolutely do it no other way but to pay it forward and to put it on a huge platform.
And so many people got to see those cleats. For the student athletes now who are part of the initiative, what would some advice be from you that you would tell them, like, hey, make the most of it? How can they be more involved? How can they take advantage of this opportunity that the American Conference provides?
Absolutely. I would definitely urge them, like you said, to just make the absolute most of it. I'm just very, very, very proud of my alma mater, the University of Tulsa. They have done such an excellent job with the Powerful Minds campaign, and they really get the entire university community involved. And it ends up from what started in athletics being an experience and an initiative that is exposed to everyone. And so I would definitely urge them to take advantage of it. Obviously, it's bright green, right? And that is the mental health color. And so grab people's attention while you have it and make that difference.
I love that. Last question for you because you give a lot of good advice. You just gave some already. But what would you tell someone, whether it's a student athlete, a professional athlete, or maybe just a regular person? What advice would you have for them if they're dealing with something, if they're struggling? How can they overcome that? What resources can they use?
Yes, absolutely. I would definitely say one, understand that it is okay to not be okay. That can sound cliche to some, but it is just an absolute truth and an absolute fact. It is okay to not be okay. And being vulnerable, speaking up, jumping into these conversations, quite frankly, saves lives, right? There are numerous organizations, Mental Health America, for counselors, Psychology Today, right? Numerous resources that can point you in the right direction, even help filter certain aspects to more uniquely fit your needs. So I would definitely urge anyone to not be afraid of being vulnerable, understand that it's okay for everyone to reach out for help and take that next step.
It's okay to not be okay. Chris, this conversation has been so fantastic. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure everybody else listening will as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Maria, thank you so much for having me.